Hello world, my name is Rencity. Welcome to Sports and Shorts of Sorts. That's right. That is a long name, you might think. Sports and Shorts, pretty good. But when I first thought of it, it was available. Now, not so much. Someone has the name. Haven't heard their podcast yet. I imagine it's pretty sweet. But we put some sorts in there. We switched it up a bit. We have your sports, we have some shorts. But we have them of all sorts. Yeah, check that. As you heard, my name is Rencity. Some say Fatty McDaddy, Cuddly McStudley, Renford, Ren, or the self-proclaimed Rencity. Yes, like everybody out there who gets nicknames, they probably get them the same way I do. From Creative Baller and NBA Ballers on the PlayStation 2. With Stephon Marbury on the cover, Starbury. Yeah, that's when Rencity was born, and that's where he is today, doing this podcast for you. Welcome. As I said, this was thought of a few years ago, and just didn't quite get there. Took some time away from it, had some family stuff happen, and just didn't want to jump on it, I guess. But here we are. We're jumping. We're here. We're doing the podcast. The concept of this podcast is talk about sports, main thing, which I love, which was instilled in me by my father. Fortunately, he did pass a year and a half ago. I have his urn back there, so he is a part of this podcast as well. Thank you, Dad. And he got me into sports, been hooked since. So that's a big part of this. Always wanted to talk about sports. I don't know if anyone will listen. But here we are, we're talking, and you might hear a bit about sports. The other part of the podcast, shorts. You're like, are you talking khakis? What are we doing? We got cargos, we got denim. Unfortunately, if you're looking for those shorts, you might be in the wrong podcast. These shorts in question are short stories. Yes, not little fables from ASAP or ASAP. Wow, ASAP Rocky is not here. I meant ASAP. ASAP's fables. But not stories in that instance. Just life stories, Traveled around a bit. Used to do some pretty wild things, I guess. And we're here. We're not exposing too much, I guess. Well, I don't know. We'll see where these podcasts go and where we end up. This is episode 1. Jar Jar is not here. There is no Binks in this episode. But we're going to get around to it. We're going to get into all different kinds of things. The graphic for this, you'll see a cool graphic when you click this, hopefully. It was done by my man, Brad Bigelow. He's going to be in these stories. And, not in this story today, I guess. Let's not hype him up there, but in other stories. And you know what? We're going to even, we'll see where the show grows. Like, I think down the road we might have guests involved, maybe? Guests of stories, stories grow. Stories of the short variety of different sorts. There we go. I think they're valid for the show, I guess. And when I was first trying to think of doing this, I reached out to a guy I used to play basketball with back in high school. Because, if you're going to talk sports, you probably played sports at some time, and I did. And we'll get into that as we go, I guess, as we learn more about the shorts and the sports. But I got some advice on podcasts from Jesse, a guy I went to school with. He has a podcast of his own with another guy I know from school back in the day, Ryan. It's called the Mindful Ninjas Podcast. It's on Spotify. I'd give it a listen. They just had their 100th episode. It's pretty cool stuff, but that's what's going on. But welcome to the show, episode 1. Like I said, cool thing I thought would be with each episode, go with jersey numbers and whatnot, right? So you're thinking what? But here we are, Jersey 1 with episode 1. And first one that came to mind when I thought of that was Warren Moon, right? CFL legend, NFL legend, kind of a big deal. Yeah, he lit it up in both leagues. Never got a Super Bowl, but pretty solid career, I'd say, lighting up those yards. And he did win some Grey Cups with the Edmonton Eskimos, and thought number 1 on the basketball court, because that's probably what I watch the most. It's most up with NFL. There'll be a big topics on the show, but in basketball, number 1, you got, I think, T-Mac, right? He's a Hall of Famer. lit it up. Never had a lot of postseason success, but amazing, right? Penny Hardaway, another guy. Injuries, though, right? Derrick Rose, ooh, #1 NBA. That's kind of injury city there, but let me tell you, healthy Derrick Rose, I'm not getting very ancient here. He's not that old. He is still in the league. But, man, his MVP year before he got hurt was something else. But Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards are carrying that #1 jersey right now, so they're pretty exciting to watch. And, of course, I do live in Canada. I guess I should have said that, but hello there from Canada. But, yeah, hockey's big here. You have to mention hockey. You got Terry Sawchuk, Johnny Bauer, 2 #1s. Big names up here. And, been in the F1 for, used to watch it as a kid a little more, but I kind of went away. But with Netflix's Drive to Survive, we kind of kick-started us back into it. Lights out, we've been in there watching, and the #1 they give out to the champion each year. Shout out to Max Verstappen, Red Bull. He won the first race, Bahrain, last week. So yeah, that season's up and running, so yeah, I'm super pumped for that season and that. And I don't know, March. You think March? What's going on? Other than my birthday, which is today. Happy birthday. Thank you. But March Madness, NCAA, you got to think of it. Everybody's got a bracket, right? You do a bracket. I do a bracket. Me and my dad would bet $1 every game. You're like, wow, that must equal crazy amount. But it is $1. And we took turns picking. So a lot of the times you broke even. If it was a $20 win, you beat the hell out of someone. But yeah. Super exciting. It just got announced. It is Selection Sunday. So, yeah, our printer is down. So that's awesome. Start a podcast, but lose the printer. It's a weird sacrifice, but we're making it work. I did the old handwritten one. I wrote her out. Haven't made my total picks yet, but I was looking at it, and there's some things that jump at me. Obviously, the Purdue Boilermakers, right? Big Ten champs. They're a #1 seed in the East Division, and you got to look at Zach Edey. Well, you got to look up to him. He's 7'4" from Toronto, so that's kind of cool. I think I haven't filled, like I said, a bracket out yet, but I'm thinking that's who I'm gonna go with from the #1. Like, I don't know. I am a plumber by trade. I do have a journeyman ticket, so we got to stick with our trades, and that's why I'm going to throw it in for the Boilermakers. Let's see what they can do. They haven't got to that championship level yet, but I think this team, they're deep. They can make a run. Some other big names that jumped out at me were obviously Alabama. And lighten it up in the SEC, but there's a lot that comes with Alabama and the whole Brandon Miller situation. Like, I know there's no criminal charges on him, but being a prospect of his level, possibly going #3 in the draft, and be involved with something like that, if you're unfamiliar with it, he got a text from his teammates to bring something to him. Turns out there was a gun in his vehicle, and this gun was used by his teammate to kill a woman who ended up passing away from this. So people were calling for this Brandon Miller to get kicked off the team. They were calling for all sorts of things, but he is playing at an elite level. He's doing phenomenal things for this Alabama team. And, like, when you Roll Tide, it's usually football season, but this team has a legit chance to win it all. The other #1s, Kansas and Houston, like, both teams that lost in their tournament final. Like, I know you want to go in with big momentum, and these are 2 teams that have played well most of the season. Like, this year, unlike others, there is so much parity. I'm looking at this paper, and you could put it on the wall, close your eyes, throw a few darts. I don't recommend that by any means, but if you did it, and you hit any part of this board, there might be a chance you pick the winner. That's just how wide open it is this year. And, like, none of those big blue bloods like we used to see, all the Kentuckys, the Dukes. Duke's got a pretty good team, but they're going up against an Oral Roberts team. And this 5-12, you know the history of the March Madness NCAA basketball tournament here. 5-12 is a scary position to be. Like, I don't know. That one is a big one that jumps out at me. St. Mary's has done well. I think they'll take care of ECU. Miami, Florida over Drake. Yeah, sorry there, Drake, but I think they're going to take you down there. And San Diego State, I think they got their side too. So out of the 5-12s, I'd say that Duke one's probably the one that jumps out at me. And some sleepers, I don't know. It's like I said, can you pick many sleepers when there's this many teams that have this many chances? But I'd say maybe Penn State. They had that wicked run in the Big Ten as a pretty low seed. And they're going up against the Aggies, who also had a pretty good run in their SEC tournament. But other than that, there's not a lot here that really jumps off the paper and makes you think, oh, that's a sure thing. That's my sure thing. But it's great. I love this time. You got CBS, ESPN. You got all the big people, all the big names. You go up there, you create your groups, you send these brackets out. Like I said, it is a crapshoot. You could have anybody winning this league. Get involved. I'm not encouraging people to bet. Well, I guess I kind of am. But yeah, it doesn't have to be big. Get your brackets out there. See what you can do. And yeah, it's a great time of the year. And let's not just stop on this men's side here, because I'm telling you, the level of women's college basketball has gotten to such a point. It's still growing, but it is amazing to watch. And if you don't believe me, just Google, or go to the Google. It's still around, the YouTube. Go to the YouTube, look up Caitlin Clark. I'm telling you, she is a machine. Triple-double. She's hitting shots from deep shots all over the court. Very exciting. One of the most exciting college players, male or female. Like, it is phenomenal to watch. I'm rooting for her Iowa Hawkeyes to, make a big run, try to do some damage in the tournament, because that would be so exciting. But on the women's side, though, you got to think it's going to be NC State again. Oh wow. I looked at my paper, my sleepers for the men's side. I apologize. But the women's side, South Carolina Gamecocks. I apologize. Dawn Staley's got that team doing their thing again, defending champs. Aaliyah Boston doing her thing. This team is too deep, too talented. Like, I don't know. I see them cutting those nets down a second time. But we'll see, I guess. The tournament, it's what it's all about. It's madness. It's literally in the name, I guess, right? So that's some exciting things. I am super pumped for that. And I don't, I work a Sunday to Thursday regular job, so I have that Friday open, so you bet. Be parked on that couch watching some hoops. It's exciting. Like I said, it's a good time to be a basketball fan, that's for sure. And speaking of, I guess we'll talk NBA real quick. Like, I know this is the time where usually people's focus shifts from the pros to the college level to see that excitement, but we can't forget about the NBA and the Nuggets of late. All the Jokic talk, MVP, but they just lost again today, as of this recording, third loss in a row. So, and like, these aren't powerhouses, like it was the Nets today. I like the Nets, They gave up a lot in these, the exodus of Kyrie and KD, but they got some good players back, like they're deep. These role players are going to step up. Like, I don't see a big postseason run this time, but these guys gelling together. I see them gelling, I'm a gelling. And I see something good coming out of them in the future, but yeah, those Nuggets slumping, it's just kind of opened the door. The KD injury kind of screws with Phoenix a bit. Yeah, that's a bugger, but yeah, it seems, I don't know, the West is so packed. I feel like they're just all beating up on each other from really 3 to, 11 almost. That whole area is just tight. It can go either way. You could be in the playing game. You want that elusive 6 seed, right? So you're not involved in any play-in madness. Anything can happen. Oh, there we go. They're trying to take from the college game with the madness, I suppose. But in the East, it's the beasts at the top, right? The real beasts of the East, right? You got to rhyme that. But the Bucks, the Sixers, and who am I forgetting there? They're always so dominant, but I'm telling you, the NBA season is it's exciting this year. Like every year. Well, not every year. It seemed back, when the Cavs and Warriors were in the final.